Sister Dolly, is that okay? Can you offer a prayer? You want me to offer a prayer? If you cannot, if you are at work, I can offer a prayer.
Yeah, please go ahead, brother.
Okay.
I'm in at work.
Okay. A Father in heaven, grateful for this hour and time and opportunity to teach these people the concepts of React. Heavenly Father, please bless them that they may have a desire to do the homework. Also, Father, grateful for the today and opportunity to do all things. Love you so much, Father. I ask these things. And as we begin this class, be with us and help us. In the name of Jesus Christ, Amen.
Amen.
So, um, okay, so whatever we discussed, okay, this class gonna be English because Sister Dolly's she don't understand Telugu, so this is gonna be English. Um, Ravi, so whatever we learned, the first the JavaScript topics, most important topics. So now we are going to learn about the not least, but most highest. There are so many other things. Um so we are going to learn this all. Okay, how to create a React app. First, React an app. uh, how do we create a React app? You use npx create React app. Make sure that there is no capital letters. Okay, there is no capital letter. Okay, so the name of your app, if
I
you want
can't
to.
see your screen.
Oh yeah, the that's there you go. Okay, so very important, these are all. So I interviewed one guy for summer internship recently, so I use these questions. I use this question. So okay, so how do you create a React app? You can. I'm gonna talk about to TypeScript maybe tomorrow after finishing this. TypeScript is very easy, very easy. If you know the basics of JavaScript, I completed all the basics of JavaScript. That's all important to do the React app. If you don't worry about HTML and CSS. So the things today we build this project. So not this one. Okay, so we build. Okay, so what did we build? I think this one we did for. Okay, so we did this one, but this is what we did for. Okay, so we didn't do the action we will do tomorrow for adding JavaScript. So if you follow my video and if you do this project, even if you take 2 hours, if you take spend 3 hours and do the project, then you will learn. Okay, so Karthik,
Sir.
how are you? Okay, so guys, one more thing is, if your partner is busy, if your partner is not working, make sure that go to Google or YouTube. If you YouTube or Google are not working, reach out to me. Make sure that you have to learn every day. Make sure make a, let's take one paper, write down all the things, what is variable, functions, data types, and all, and object array, by heart everything, and practice every day. Make sure that your commitment is you have to write at least 20 lines of code or 10 lines of code. If you do 10 lines of code every day before going to bed, you will have a 300 lines of code by the end of the month. So make sure that consistency is the main key. So today we are going to learn about uh, JavaScript, React. So we already started React, one thing. So um, okay, so okay, one thing you have to remember here, how to create a React, npx create React app. There is no small capital letters, and then name of your app. Okay, make sure that your name of your app should be small letters. And also if you use a TypeScript will give you protection means because JavaScript is a loosely coupled, and also it's not type safe. JavaScript means you can, once you declare let's say let x is equal to 5, you can reassign the x to string, number to string. But if you use a TypeScript, it will be strict. Once you declare a value, you cannot reassign to different type. That's a TypeScript. We will learn about TypeScript and all. TypeScript takes only 1 hour, one day. It's very simple. So it's very simple. Okay, so don't worry about anything. If you don't know, still it's fine. If you don't know anything, still it's fine. Make sure the practice. So okay, make sure that you have to talk to Rakesh if you have any questions. And so any questions? Do you guys have any questions?
Where we use the React, brother?
Okay, so I'm going to discuss. So let's say React is a framework. Anyone knows what is a framework? Okay, so this is very good question. Where do we use React? So why do we need a React? So first, React is a framework. Okay, so simply I say framework means remember that this very important question. Why do we need to use a React? React is a framework that allow us to use reusability, like a function. Instead of writing let's say you want to print a print statements 100, if you write always console.log 100 statements, it will take a lot of time. If you print 100 statements, it will take a lot of time. Instead of that, you can write a 10 print statements, put those print statements into function and call that function into 10 times, total 20 lines of code. So using reusability. At the same time, instead of writing a JavaScript, so let's say if I go here, so this is one component, 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 this is one component. Everything is a component based. This is one component. So everything is a component based. So okay, everything is a component based. So so for React, let's say if you have a JavaScript code 100 lines of code, using React it will reduce to 60 lines of code. Okay, and also you can reuse code. You write a one component, you write code for one component, then you can use it for all the components. You don't need to write for every component same code. So why do we need to use React? One of the main benefits of using React is its potential to reuse components. I said already, what is a component? I showed you, right? So you understand, you saw the components, right? So I showed you components, right, sister? User interface, actually.
Yes.
Yeah, this is a component, this is a component, this is a component. You create a code for one component, you reuse the code. So taking a
But
JavaScript, go ahead, sister.
Is it framework? Because I checked it saying it's not a framework.
It's a library and it's also a framework. You could say framework too. So
because I checked in the Google, it's saying React is not a framework. That's why.
Yeah, that's true. But in the sense, you have to think like it's a framework. For reusability means you use a reuse components. So let's say W3 schools. Okay, this is very important concept. If you were my React, okay, JavaScript library for building user interfaces. It allows to use to build a single page application, allows to use to create reusable UI components. Okay, so these are the things. Okay, so if it comes to introduction, React sometimes referred to a front-end JavaScript framework. So what did the Google says? Sister Dolly, what did you say? It's not a framework, right?
Yeah, it's saying, yeah.
Yeah, but see, you have to think like framework. Whenever it says reusability, let's say Java is a programming language, but in order to Java takes a lot of time to do it. So you use a Spring Boot as a framework, Spring Frame Boot. So same thing when you write a Java for Android applications like the backend applications.
What is Spring Boot?
Spring Boot, Spring Framework are the frameworks for the Java.
Oh, okay.
So I'm giving an example. If you have a Java background, using Java you write 1,000 lines of code. Then using framework you write a 700 lines of code. Using boot Spring Boot, you're then 400 lines of code. So that's the advantage. Using framework means you use reusability. JavaScript library created by Facebook. React is tool for building UI components. Okay, so very important topics. Okay, so anyone has an idea about last time I talked about components? So if you don't remember components, then say okay. Ravindra has left the meeting, but he's still in the meeting. So yes means if you okay, you don't know means yes, right?
So you
Okay, so
developer of the React.
okay,
Yes.
okay, go ahead, Nana.
You on the developer of React is
Okay, so your question is why do we use to component?
no. Who is the developer of React.js when it was introduced?
Okay. Oh, who introduced? So it was intended by JavaScript library created by Facebook. Okay, which is in React history. It's in 2022 April. React.js is a version 8.0. This is an updated version. Initial release to the public 2013 July. Okay, and so it was initially 2013. See, that's what we use ECMAScript 5 6. Okay, ES6. So this is very important. JavaScript, if you don't use anything before 2015, then you will be shocked it doesn't work. Okay, first thing, Facebook software engineer Jordan Walkie created it. Okay, and also current version create React app, and you have to use npx, then create React app, then you have to give a space, then write name of your app. Anyways, so now the main important thing is components. Okay, if you okay, so when you go to an interview, most of the times they don't ask who intended, who created. Just they don't ask what is a component, what is React, why do we need to use React. Their first thing is components in React. Okay, so okay, so very important question. Okay, so very important thing. Okay, types of components and React. There are two types of components, mainly two types of components: functional components and class based components. But we mainly focused on functional components. We don't focused on class based components. Functional component in React. Functional components are just like a JavaScript function that accept properties and return a React element. Okay, so same thing, it return accepts properties, and you already know. Okay, properties is nothing but a like properties is like a object has two things, properties and methods. Properties are like a variables or states, accept properties and return in a React element. We can create a functional component in React by creating JavaScript function. These functions may or may not receive data as parameters. So we will discuss, that is the other thing. How do you create? We create first, use a keyword function. Okay, use a keyword function. Okay, so then demo component. Okay, demo component, but that's this is okay. Okay, this is not the right thing. So okay, so components in React, because you have to start with a okay, come here, let's see if they have. Okay, so this is, they are given a good meaning. Okay, components are independent and reusable bits of code. They serve the same purpose as JavaScript function but work in a isolation and written HTML. Components come in two types. One is class component and function components. In order to React code base, you may find class components primarily used. So we use only class components, and also components always starts with uppercase letter. That is the main thing. Okay, so create a class component called car. So here class component name car, you use extends keyword react.component. So this is the parent class react.component. So mostly we don't use, we use function components. Okay, function components. How do we create a function component? Here is the same example as above but created using function component instead. So a function component also returns HTML and behaves much same as a class component, but function components can be written using much less code and easier to understand, will be preferred in this tutorial. So I'm not going to explain each line of code. You already know what is each line of code. Make sure that I'm going to ask you questions. If you don't know, ask me, that's okay. So function, so I already show you, we did one project too. So for now I'm going to, so that I'm going to quit this one. Okay, so already we quit, so we have a, okay, so components are reusability, we use for reusability, and it returns a HTML, behaves much as same way as a class component, this function component. Components always starts with a uppercase letter. Okay, you have to use a keyword called function car. Means here, make sure that you use a what we say, use arrow functions, but now here you can use what will happen, what is the return means. Anyone can explain what is the return means? Very important question, they will ask you at the beginning of your interview. Yes or no? Yes means you know the answer, no means
It will be appear after creating, right? The
good.
heading. Yeah.
That's very good. Anyone has guesses? There is no right or wrong answer. Okay,
Sir, as a sixth,
what does the return function do, return statement do?
statement.
Very important question. Okay, very important question. What does the return statement do? The main thing people have okay, Karthik, good, Rakesh, okay, I'm going to explain. So first thing is, okay, so if I go here, return means it returns whatever we have written here. Okay, it is the result, is the print this one. But what will happen after, if you, after the return statement, you cannot write anything. Like if I, so in this code, okay, I'm not going to show you anything, but here explain one thing. Return statements means stop there. Okay, stop and print there, return this. After return, if you write anything, you will get an error. So Ruby, JavaScript for Indians, fancy counter, React, rock paper scissors, Flask, Python project, Ruby and Rails. Where did I do the this this is for US, this is Ruby, and let's say this one, did we use this one to build?
I think you need your TA to help you.
No, I'm just looking at the folder. Which folder we did? Oh no, this is for the. No, I'm just looking at the folder we created for last time for the project. So it says not Ruby on Rails, not the React, React for Indians, JavaScript for rock paper scissors. Anyways, so maybe did I use this one? No, this is for the US students. Okay, so last time I believe I also recorded in the video. We did React JS. So, anyways, okay.
Sir, JS PRS India's and only.
Okay, no. Oh, where? Ruby, Hangman, Word Analytic, Paperrocks, Hangman, US, Synchronous, React, Fancy Counter for Ruby and Rails. Okay. Anyways, I'm gonna figure it out. That's the so I wanted to show you, but anyways, it will return this statement. After return means you cannot write anything. Stop there. If you return anything after return, you will get an error. Okay, that's the class component. Rendering a component. Okay, now you React application has a component called car. Okay, so whatever you have written, anything to display, you have to import this one into the main app.js. So another file. So okay, let me go here. If I can find out, open folder. Portfolio web page, fancy flask, Java, rock, React, fancy counter. This one, no, not this one. So no, not this one. Open folder. I think so. Hangman down. Ruby and Rails. So anyways, okay. Okay, so maybe I might deleted the project. Python for no. Ruby and Rails. Let's see this one. No, let's see this one. Ruby crash course. Okay, that's a Ruby. Oh, this is all Ruby. But what is the course? React. Okay, so anyways, that's not the one I'm going to show you, but anyways, so okay, so what I'm going to do, React for USA. Okay, this one I deleted. Open folder, React. Let's see this one. Okay, this one also has been deleted. So okay, I think I deleted the folder, but sorry, React. Okay, so I think we did last time. Anyways, after React you cannot have anything. So after written you cannot have anything. What is a React? You have to remember so what is the component? So component are like function that return HTML elements. This is the main thing. What is the components? Components are like a function. It returns a HTML elements. So everything is here HTML element. Okay, make sense. Okay, components are independent and reusable bits of code. Why do we use? Everything is a component here. This one, this one, this one, everything is a component. We use it, bits of reusable bits of code. They serve the same purpose as a JavaScript functions, but works in isolation and written in HTML. Independent, it will work as an independent. Mostly we focus on a function components. Okay. So component always starts with a capital letter. That's the components. So any questions about components? Okay, next is props. Okay, components can be passed as props. Components can be passed as props, which stands for properties. Props, which stands for properties. Props are like a function arguments. Okay, components can be passed as props, which stands for properties. Props are like a function arguments. You know, function has an arguments, right? Argument means not the parameter. When you pass the value, that's called a argument, and you send them into the component as attributes. So function car props. Okay, here components, class component. Okay, next here okay, props. Props short for properties. Props means short for properties, are a way to pass data from the parent component to child component. Props are like function arguments. You can use them as an attributes of in components. So okay, so function, what is this called? What is the message means? What is the message here?
Properties.
No,
Short properties.
no, what is the message means?
Message is a component name.
Yeah, it's a
Function short
component
property.
because it started with the uppercase letter. Uppercase letter, it is component. Whenever you see components, always starts with a uppercase. Props means short for properties, are way to pass data from the parent component to the child component. Okay, so props I already showed you in the last time. Okay, so I don't know which video, so I need to look at later. So now you passing as a properties here. Okay, you pass the properties props, then this is a you passed here as a properties, right? Properties also nothing but an argument, parameter, like what we call a variable. This is in a value. You pass a value, it's called, you are assigning proper props is equal to hello world. So simply you passing way to pass data from the parent component to the child component. So here, so props. Okay, here props are for short for a properties, are ways to pass data from a parent components to child component. Means you can reuse, like storing some information. Whenever you use a text means props hello world. So let's say in this example, so here greet is a function and also it's a component too. This is a functional component. Okay, welcome. Okay, welcome, you written a greet. Okay, you're returning greet, hello Greek. So just simply means whatever you pass the value. Okay, for component you pass this is component. Okay, so here props means a property, you pass the value for a value. So okay, I can use here props in React. Okay, if you okay, so okay, if you understand these all main concept 10 concepts, so you will do great. Okay, okay, so okay, here very good understanding. Props are the main backbone of React.js. It is one of the basic features that made React.js awesome and powerful. Props in React are used for one-way and bidirectional way communication in React.js components. Think of props are arguments to a functions. You know, arguments. So functions JS are group of code that perform a task. We can have function that returns the same summation. Summation means sum of the elements, like a summation sign, like a e in the math. So return 1 plus 2. So this function returns the summation of 1 and 2. we can make this function be flexible enough, not sum only but to sum any two numbers. Then what you have to do, you have to use a variable, right? I'm using a variable, like a, these are called arguments, sorry, parameters. We will make it to accept two arguments, which means parameter 1 parameter 2, return parameter 1 parameter 2 plus, because if you do static means hard coded, you don't want, you want to store somewhere else, then you call the function some, then you pass, every time you pass random values, these are called arguments. 1 comma 2 an argument, 90 comma 23 an argument, it returns 3, it returns 113. So we are using some function, passing it to when we need it to work with. This is the same concept as props in React components. Components in React are JavaScript functions in ECMAScript 6 classes. The arguments we pass to function are now props. Okay, so here we pass the argument like this 1 comma 2 90 comma 23. Now we pass in a props just. So React component written as a functions are known as a functional components. Okay, while ES6 components are known as a class components. Functional components are basically JavaScript functions. Function, see, component name always starts with a capital letter, it returns something. Now we render. How do we render? So rendering means you run, you get the result. In React we run anything app.js. App.js is the main file. Like in Java we say main method. Main method, public static void main is the main method. You have to call anything through the main method. Same thing in React.js, you use a app.js to render this function. Anyways, rendering means it will give the display. So now we to pass the React component, we pass them like a attribute on HTML element. So width, these are the attributes. So attributes are source, width and height, image, use them to render an image. So these attributes are just like passing arguments to a function. Okay, similar to the thing we do on React component. Data 1. Okay, the props are properties. Here in a React component is data 1. Okay, data 2. Okay, props, data 1 and data 2 are props. You pass a value high, you pass a value 22. So the question is, how do we get access and use them in React component? Okay, now React gather all the attributes in the component and adds them to the argument object. It passes to the component, it is being rendered. Okay, now function, now you use a, what is this called, props. The props argument is an argument that React passes its components. Okay, you pass it in a component when they are being rendered and updated too. When you call it, like when you rendered means when it works, it give you the output updated too. The name is not just to props, it can be anything, but props means so anyone can understand. You can use props, but anything you pass into a component, like a function, you pass the arguments or proper parameters. Here you pass anything into the function class components, sorry, functional components, that's called props. It can be anything. I was following naming convention, because of the for the naming convention, the props names tells us it's a prop or property passed to the component. Attributes passed to the React component can be accessed as a properties in the props argument. So we said before, the props argument is an object. So type of props, return null. Okay, props data 1 equal to props dot data 2, data 1 data 2 return. So now here data 1 comma data 2. Okay, data 1 data 2. So data 1 is in a text. Okay, it will display, but data 1 means whatever you stored in the props. Okay, it's like a this method in Java, or else self dot self anidi, self is a Python, means it belongs to the current object. So we convert our first example to some function as a React component. This is like this. When we render, the output will be 3. Let's make accept two numbers to sum and add them to a display result. Props dot first number, props dot second number, concept props dot this one. So now what you have to do, you have to pass the value. Okay, so display the summation of 1 and 2. I passed 1 and I passed 2 here. So here what will happen, first number 1 and second number will be 2. So summing 1 and 2. So now we can pass any data types props in React component: object, array, boolean, number, string, function. You can pass anything. Object, yes, it is possible to pass object to React component. Let's say you have the below object in parent component and we want to pass it to a child component, so it can display the object's property values. Okay, user. So this is a object, right? I already discussed it in JavaScript. So you passed user is, what is the object name here? User. Now user is equal to user. Okay, left side you are storing. Okay, this is a passing the object here, user. Very simple. Now we can access user prop in the display user component in the props object. So how do we access? Okay, props. Okay, you can give any name. Const user props dot user. So you saved, you don't need to give a name here, user. You can give any name, but it will be for naming convention. Everybody understand. Props dot user, passing a array to component. You can pass the whole array. Okay, you can pass many things. You can use a map function. So whatever you pass the value, it will render. So main thing is here. Okay, so what is a, okay, here is the best example. So this is a function, is the component name is app. Okay, whatever this is, one more product is the other component, app is the another component. Now how to use React pops? This means that our data will be passed app.js. I told you app.js is the main which is the parent component to the all whatever you use, like a main method. So here you passed value 1 prototype is value, 2 is value, 3 value. So whatever you pass it into a component, inside component as an argument, is called a props. Props is nothing but a properties. That's what you understand. You don't need to understand more. Okay, so you don't need to understand more for now. Okay, props, here props dot object name, you will get a object name. So same thing like a function arguments. Okay, same thing like a function arguments. It's just very simple. Component, it will render a HTML element. Why do we use a component? For reusability. What components we use? There are two types of component. One is functional, other one is a class component. Functional component we use because that's the modern ES6. Components is like a function, so we use it for a reusability. Everything you see in the web page, it's a components. So functional components, these are JavaScript functions that written a React elements. Next, class components ante these are the ES6 class that extended React.component and have a render method. Okay, render method means it will produce the value. Okay, what is props? Props short for properties. Props are read only attributes faster from parent component to a child component. They allow data to flow from parent to child components. That's the one thing. Okay, so now I hope you understand components, props. Next, state React.js state. Okay, state object is where you store property values that belong to the component. Okay, React components has built-in state object. Okay, very important. React components has a built-in state object. The state object is where you store property, where you store property values. Property values means props. The props values you store it in a state values that belongs to the component. When the state object changes, the component re-renders. So creating a state object. So here the state object is initialized in the constructor. So if you don't know, constructor is also a special type of method. Okay, like a function. So state object in the constructor method. So this is a class component. So constructor props, super props, this dot state equal to brand Ford. Okay, this one you need to know object oriented programming. For now, state object can contain as many properties as you like. Okay, so okay, props this dot state means it will calls this one whatever you have properties here. Okay, so state object, the state object anywhere in the component by using this dot state dot property name. This dot state property name, this is the syntax. So this dot state, this is called an object, this is called object. So here this dot state equal to, we have an object, object has 4 properties: brand, model, color, year. This dot state dot brand, so you have, this is syntax, right? This dot state dot brand, what you will get? Ford. This dot state dot color, you will get a Mustang, then red. So yeah, this is, you don't need, but you need in a different folder. So that's the one. Changing the state object, you can change to, how do we change? So to change value in the state object, use the this state set state, set state. So it will change. Set state, color equal to blue, initially color equal to red, this dot state. So this dot state means you assigned a value, you assign to the value, key to the value. Okay, let's say your variable is a color and property value is the red. But now this dot set state, very important, this dot set state, what does it do? It changes the value, modifies the value, means color dot blue. So if you come here, this dot state dot year, this dot state dot color, change color. So state year. If I go here, so if I go here, so here no, not this one. Okay, so when I click here, it's a blue Mustang from, okay, it's a blue, not red. Okay, when you click, it will change. So simply means one property you have to remember here, this dot set state. Set state means it will reassign to the different value when you change color method, because when you click on it, it will render. Okay, always use set state method to change the state object. It will ensure that component knows it's been updated and call the render method and all the other life cycle methods. Okay, so okay, life cycle methods, there are 3 types of methods: mounting, updating, on mounting. But most important thing, so what time I have, make sure that I have to end. Okay, we have 14 minutes, but I'm going to ask you questions. We have to do these all. No, okay, this is a very important topic, is hooks. Okay, what is a hooks? Hooks allow function components to have access state and other React features. Because of this, class components are generally no longer needed. Okay, because of the hooks, we don't need a class components. Okay, remember, always use a functional components. If you understand these concepts very well, and the basic JavaScript I have mentioned, told you in the earlier, it's enough to build at least 5 projects. 5 projects, very simple. You don't need all the JavaScript building a React projects. You need a basic JavaScript, you can build on it. Okay, although hooks generally replace class components, there are no plans to remove class from React. So what is hook? Hooks allow us to hook into React features such as state and lifecycle methods. We will talk about those tomorrow. But tomorrow our agenda is to build a rest of the project. You guys do what you have to do is make sure that you have to before coming to the class, do read JavaScript things, and also if you have more time, do the homework. Okay, make sure that do the homework. And I also posted a small homeworks for HTML and CSS. If you do that homework, you will be fine. Okay, you will be fine. So I'm reassigning people. Okay, Rakesh, you can do by yourself. Sister Dolly, you can do by yourself. Karthik and Ravi both can work on it. But if you have any questions, ask Rakesh. If Rakesh cannot help you, you can ask me. So that's the thing. And also I have a few questions. Okay, Karthik, you can unmute. I'm gonna ask you a few questions. What is component?
Sir,
Okay, Ravindra, what is component?
sir. Independent and reusable.
For the reusability purpose. That's good. Okay, that's good. What is a component, Ravindra?
Yes, sir, that's the point. You can reusable the component.
Okay, so make sure that before coming to the class tomorrow, even if your canvas is not working, that's okay. Make sure that record all the topics, all the JavaScript topics, whatever I discussed, record all those topics. So if you need help, what are the topics, I'm gonna
Brother, are we going to do next time hooks? Because we just studied a little bit about this.
so we go everything line by line. So HTML and CSS, JavaScript. So we build one JavaScript project. At the same time, whatever we learned JavaScript, we also build React, so that you have an idea when something comes up. Okay, make sure that you,
Okay.
what are the topics you have to know. Variables, if you wanted to write it down, you can write it down somewhere else. I don't have much time to say. Variables, data types, variables and data types, var and strings, numbers, and var, vets let, vets const, booleans, arrays, objects, and traditional functions, functions with input, like having a parameter or argument, returning functions, next arrow functions, next string concatenation, template literals, if else statements, equality operators like 2 equals and 3 equals, ternary operator, truth and false values, then manipulating HTML elements like text contents, inner HTML, events, event handler functions. These are all you guys has to make sure that you guys has to know these all. Okay, I don't listen anything. If your canvas is not working, that's okay. Okay, make sure that your phone is working, right? You have an internet, so use your phone. I also send you the link. Let me. Okay.
This is all the basic of HTML
No, HTML and CSS
together.
yeah. So okay, I'm going to pass this one in the group. Okay, so this is instructions. So okay, let me see if it's working. Okay, instructions and external site. Okay, this one I cannot. Okay, it's in. Okay, I'm going to do what I'm going to do is I'm going to send the link. So you're welcome to use this one, but I don't care. However you, okay. So this is the link. You can use it. Anyway, so the topics I have mentioned. If you want to come to class, if you are more curious, so these topics, if you learn, you will be fine. Okay, Rakesh, I have a question for what is component, what is props, and what is state.
Components are two types: functional and class-based components.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, we use functional components. In functional components, we create a component name. The starting letter should be in capital.
Yes.
Next thing, props. Props are the properties. In functions, we call as parameters, but in React, we call it properties. So we can pass some arguments to the
Yes.
properties, and I can't understand the object.
Yes.
Sorry, state.
State means you store the values. So you pass the values, right? Let's say parameter, you pass an argument as a value, means state means you store them there. In the state you store it, that's it. So whenever you call, let's say not the hooks, okay, so props, okay. State means the state means it belongs to this object whatever you have here. But anyways, I will explain it to you guys, but that's good. Sister Dolly, everybody has to do this work, and also make sure that I'm going to, okay, so okay, I'm going to, okay, so okay, so okay, so okay, I'm going to copy paste the code to visual here in the WhatsApp. If something is not working, I really appreciate people who have tried. So now you don't have any exceptions. Sir, my code is not working. No, I'm giving everything. Only thing is you have to watch my video and understand this code. Okay, you have lot of work to do. Let me know now if anybody doesn't want to do homework for tomorrow. So make sure that do your best 100%. Even if you miss anything, that's fine, but if you don't miss this one. So main thing, tomorrow we are going to implement JavaScript, at the same time we learn React concept. So if anybody wants me to post whatever the things we are going to discuss, I'm going to post on a WhatsApp the React components. If you understand React components very well, in 1 week we will build 5 projects, and you don't need much experience with HTML and CSS. You already know HTML and CSS. Then if you don't know what you have to do, you have to Google it. That's what. Okay, I'm also going to help you this week making a portfolio using HTML and CSS. It will only take 1 hour to build a small portfolio. So I did today. Let me show you. For today I did it for people. So portfolio web page. Then I showed you for this one my other students. So this is very simple. We build an online tutoring center, but very simple. Just simple. You have a logo and you have a user interfaces like the components, the statement, welcome to our online coding, welcome. So this is what we did. It took only 1 hour. So something you can build, you can have your pages, something like that, like for your as a portfolio you can build it. Okay, so any questions? Okay, are you willing to do homework by tomorrow before coming to the class?
Yes.
Okay, good. Thank you, sister. So I'm asking, are you willing to do the homework by tomorrow before coming to the class?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So if you say yes, means you are willing and you are taking my word as a promise that you are making it. Okay, so one important thing, what about Rakesh? You? Okay, so he's sister. What did you say? Okay, Rakesh.
I said yes, brother.
So are you willing to do homework by tomorrow, right?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, I really appreciate you guys. Do the homework. If you start doing the homework, you will know. But if you don't do the homework by tomorrow, please don't come to the class. You can take 1 day holiday, but I will count as a present. Okay, then you have to pay. So that's all, guys.
Good. Punishment.
Yeah, so that's all. So some people are willing to pay the money. I don't want to do 4 hours or 3 hours homework, but I promise you, if you do this homework, it will worth more, and you will enjoy. God will bless you if you do this homework, and I will send you some components what you have to study for tomorrow. I promise you, you will enjoy. you will find a good job. After you finishing components, we will start build the React projects. Okay, at the same time we build JavaScript, at the same time React. Okay, and also I wanted to inform you, most of the companies you have to know TypeScript, but if you know JavaScript very well, then you don't need to worry. Okay, Ravi, Karthik, Sister Dolly, basic JavaScript whatever I mentioned, you have to know very well. But the Rakesh, most of he knows up to fetch like promises and stuff. So any questions? If you have any questions, ask me. So the class is going to end in 1 minute.
No questions, sir.
The homework which you're giving for today, that one we need to finish by tomorrow, right?
Tomorrow, yes. And also I post on HTML and CSS. So you can run that into your web page. Make sure that don't do it blindly, means copy paste. No, you have to understand. If you don't understand, first reach out to Rakesh, then me. Reaching out to means someone, don't call him 20 times, don't send him 15 messages. Just send a Rakesh, are you free? Okay, so if he is not free, text me. If I'm free, I will respond it to you guys. Make sure that respect each other, do homework, be good citizen, be good student, and be good developer. If you don't have any question, you can drop out. So I need to talk to Ravi and Rakesh. I have some other questions. So yeah, you guys are yeah, it's already